This is Algebra 2, Section 3.1, Solving Linear Systems by Graphing and by Using Tables. So this first example here is actually a review exercise. You should already know how to graph linear equations. The first equation is in mx plus b form, meaning that the slope is 2/3 and the y-intercept is -4. So what I can do is put a mark at the y-intercept of -4 and rise 2, run 3, and then that shows me where my line should go. Letter B says y equals 4 minus 5/2x. And so the y-intercept is +4, and then the slope is down 5, right 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. And that shows me where my line goes. So, letter C is y equals x plus 2. So the format is a little different on this one because I don't have a number in front of my x. But when there's no number in front of your x, that means your slope is 1. And anytime you have a whole number for a slope, you can always write it over 1 to turn it into a fraction. So now you have your rise over your run. So my starting value, my y-intercept is 2. My slope says go up 1 over 1. And I can continue that a couple times so I can get a clear place where the line is. There's my answer for letter C. For letter D, again, it's a little different because I don't see an intercept. When there's no intercept, that means your intercept is 0. So B equals 0. So I have a slope of 3, and I can draw that over 1 to give me my rise over my run. I'm going to start at 0, rise 3, run 1, and that kind of tells me where my next line should go. And the last one, letter E, doesn't appear to have an x, which means that the slope is 0. And I'm going to put it over 1 again. My starting value is -2, and then I'm going to rise 0, run 1. So that's a horizontal line. Now, if I have all of that information, I can use those answers in answering the exercises below. So I can't scroll down without losing my drawing, so hopefully you have your worksheet in front of you. The first example B, the first two equations on there, you can see that I reuse these equations, equation A and equation B. So if the question is, how do you solve a system of equations using these two, you just look where they cross. So I have my blue line and my red line, equations A and B, and it looks like they cross right here. The coordinates of that point would be x equals +2.5, y equals -2.3, estimating. For the second exercise, letter B, it gives you equations C and D and asks you where they cross. So the purple one and the green one, right here and right here, cross at this point, and that is 1 over 3 up. So that would be x equals 1 and y equals 3. So these are the answers that we got using the graphs above. For the first one, the first two lines crossed at 2.5, negative 2.3, and the second one crossed at 1, 3. So, for example C, this is solving using tables. You have two equations. The first equation is x1, and we'll put the values here. The second equation, y2, we'll put the values right here. If you have a graphing calculator, it's actually pretty easy to put these equations in and set them up. You would do y1, 3 over 4, x minus 1, and you can go to your table and see the values. In the second one, y2, you'd put x minus 2, and then go to your table, you can see the values. Without a graphing calculator, you can use a regular old calculator or even your brain to calculate these, but you just substitute all the different x values into the equation. So 3/4 times 0 minus 1, that equals negative 1. And then we'd substitute a 1 into the equation. 3/4 times 1 minus 1, and that's negative 25. And then we'll put a 2 into the equation, and that's positive 0.5. And then we put a 3 into the equation, we put a 4 into the equation, we put a 5 into the equation, we put a 6 into the equation. For the second one, we'd keep substituting the same values in to the second equation, so 0 minus 1. And then 1 minus 1. And then 2 minus 1. Oh, minus 2. I was trying to figure out why these weren't looking right. Okay, I apologize. So this first one would have been 0 minus 2 gave me negative 2. 1 minus 2 gave me negative 1. 2 minus 2 gave me 0. 3 minus 2 gave me 1. And that's how I filled in the values in this column. So then we find our solution wherever we see the x and the y, where we have two y's that are the same. I have 2 in this column and 2 in this column. So my answer to this question is x equals 4 and y equals 2. Whenever you're solving a system of equations, you always get two answers, an x and a y. So I hope I didn't screw that up too badly. You have all the information you need to do the exercises. The first page is just a bunch of graphs. Remember, you're getting two answers, x and y. And then the next page is a bunch of tables. Again, two answers, x and y. Good luck on the exercises, and let me know if you have any questions.